Kudash, 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 Adonai, Elohim, Sabayah. Kudash, 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 Adonai, Elohim, Sabayah. Kudash, 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 Adonai, Elohim, Sabayah. Meaning holy, 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 Lord of hosts. Yah, He, Va, He. Yah, He, Va, He. Yah, He, Va, He. Those 4 syllables can be said as a mantra and also unlock a divine frequency using the Hebrew alphabet and syllables. Yah signifying the Father who art in heaven. Abba, the architect of the universe, divine masculine. He, being the divine feminine, being Mother Earth, the womb of the earth where mankind was created, formed and molded. Ba being a divine masculine, being mankind itself. In the beginning, Elohim said, let us create them in our image. Keywords in that passage: us in our image, and Elohim is plural, meaning more than one. Once you go into esoteric and exoteric, you realize everything is created in duality, in two sides, So we have a divine masculine and a divine feminine, The divine feminine is always referred to as a her in the Bible, whether it be wisdom, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, it's always referred to as a her, feminine, divine feminine energy. And masculine energy always is referred to as him. Now back to the last hey, which would be a divine feminine, which would be Mother Wisdom. On the Hebrew Sephiroth and Tree of Life, you get Chokmah. Chokmah means wisdom. Ana Chokmah, meaning Mother Wisdom, As above, so below, the macro prosophis above and the micro prosophis below, because we are the microorganisms and the host of the Elohim. Yahweh Vaheh as collective whole creates the tetragrammaton. Tetragrammaton is the secret geometric name of the Most High God, which there are 72, 72 attributes, titles, they signify, Sabaoth being one of them, El Shaddai being another one, El, Elohim, Elion, Eloah, Sabaoth, so many different Hashems. Hashem meaning the names, But, today I'm going to go cross-reference something. I'm going to go into the Holy Tablets. The Holy Tablets has a lot of information that correlates with the Bible. Basically, it's the Bible in its esoteric form, as the Bible would talk about, in the beginning, Adam and Eve, and talk about actual physical beings, whereas though the Holy Tablets will go into the energy state, the ether, the atoms, the protons, neutrons, and, all the elements that make up a being. Like here, 9 ether. 9 ether means these 9 elements that create up the human body. The atom Katman, which be 9 ether, equals 1 is antimatter, 2 is electrons and photons, 3 would be hydrodynamics, 4 would be electricity, 5 would be magneticism, 6 would be electromagnetic radiation, and 7 would be Renaissance energy, So it's very key. Everything revolves around 9, Tesla even talked about it in his time. He said 3, 6, and 9 are the keys to the universe, Because look at it. When you put 3 and 6 together, you get 9. It's 9 months for a woman to have her pregnancy cycle, and in 9 months it's 270 days in 9 months, and when you put 2 and 7 together, what you get again, 9. Put 2 and 7 backwards, you get 72. When it talks about the metaphor in the Bible of the Messiah rising in 3 days, that's 72 hours. What is 7 and 2? 9, And it says that he died on the 9th hour, you know? So there's a lot of numerology that revolves around these things. Like human, you know, you get human is short for God man, because Psalms 82 says, ye are all gods and children of the Most High. And before that, it says that the Most High judgeth in the congregation of the gods. Another way to say the Most High is to say Anu Elyon El, you know, Anu meaning the Most High, Anu, you know, Anu. And humans comes from the word hue, Hue, man, man, which that hue is where you get God from, God man. Human means God man, you know. Sophia, mother of the living, triggering the thought process of our being, you know. And another thing is key in this time, talking about the beast system. The beast system, you wouldn't be able to buy yourself if you didn't have the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is anything that is unnatural, that goes against the laws of nature, which would be antichrist, anything that would be anti-God, that isn't pure, you know, nanotechnology, like the snake bite, you know, altering the DNA, modifying, manipulator of the DNA, you know. These are things that you put in your body, your host, your temple, your vessel, so will alter the DNA. There's plasma in the DNA. You know, when you go to a blood bank, they take your blood, but it's not just for to have reserves of your blood. It's for the plasma that is in your blood. The central star in this universe, which is the sun, Sol, Ra, sun, Ra. You know, that's where you get 3 names. Is, Ra, and El, which are 3 different names. Isis, Ra, and El. Isis coming from Genesis. The generations of Isis, the genealogy of Isis, which goes back to Netar, which I'm going to show you a little bit more on that in a minute too. Yeah, it goes back to the generations of Isis and Netar. Yeah, and right here, what it says on the holy tablets, Netar would in Egypt would be called Niaru. You know, you see how the Bible it says in the beginning Elohim. See in the holy tablets it's called Elohim. But back to the 3 names, Isis, signifying the generations of Isis, the genealogy of Isis, back to Netar or Netaru. You know what you would get in Egyptian ideology, you know, Ra being Sol Ra, the sun, the central star, the plasma giver, the plasma, the spark, the 9 ether in the DNA, those hydrodynamics, you know, the electricity, the magneticism, the electromagnetic radiation, you know, the antimatter, the electrons and photons. Photons is energy from the sun, photon energy, you know, hydrodynamics, you know, and so on and so on. You know, Isis, generations of Isis, Ra, central star in the solar system, Sol Ra, the plasma producer, which sends down the ether and rays to our body, you know, the light spectrum that you can't see, but it's also within our temple, which would be called the chakras. Those chakras, the 7 colors, 7 energy fields, 7 emotional attributes. 7 emotional attributes. The light spectrum. You know, if you sun gaze long enough and you adjust your eyes a certain way, you will see, you know, figures in the form of rainbow colors, you know. They look like a web, but light beings, you know. You know, you can see that in a meditation state. And El being short for Elohim, Anu Elyon El, the Most High, because it's a congregation. This is where you get the 24 elders from. The Most High is being the Most High amongst those beings, the elders. You know, the 24 galactic races, some people call them. The Council of 24, the Nunakai, you know. But this is why this video, what I'm about to do, is so important, because this breaks down a lot of the ideology of that, you know. When I was going in to, hold on, let me read it. Yeah, and more notes I took, like this concept of Lucifer. It says right here in the Holy Tablets in 55, it says Lucifer was a product of a mixed marriage, being the son of the two beings. The reptilian Tarakwash raped the Anunnaki Myliva, which made Lucifer part reptilian and part Anunnaki. 89 of the Holy Tablets, it says, this is why he was called the serpent that spoke beside the tree in the enclosed garden of the light located in what is called Ba'ali today, which would have been the Garden of Eden, you know. That's why it's good to know the same stories and information in duality, you know, because two sides to everything. It's an esoteric version, it's an exoteric version. There's the divine feminine, there's a divine masculine, you know. There's a there's a male, there's a female, you know. It's two sides to everything, and one is not dominant over the other. Together, the two, the collective, make one, which is the soul and the mate, the soul mates, you know, because they are on the same vibrational frequency. It's not that they're on the same level of sexuality. They're on the same vibration and frequency, a divine vibration and frequency, which bring them together because they're both operating under the same thought patterns, process, and way of thinking and of life, you know. Everybody that gets married is not their soulmates, you know, believe it or not. So Isis, Ra, and El, Anu, Eli, and El, Elohim, being plural. That's what I said in the beginning. Elohim said, "Let us create them in our image." You know, that's just some basic information I want to just put out there, and so y'all can think about it. You know, it might not hit you now, but it's going to hit you because we are in the times right now, and a lot of things is about to manifest. You know, that's what I was put here for. The 999, you know, the 9th month, the 19th day, the 90th year at exactly 8:59 p.m., which I just say is 9 o'clock. So that's a sequence of 4 nines, completion of a cycle. You know, that's why you got the Noda Mazarah, the constellations, the zodiac, which Job was told, you know, learn the Mazarah. Now look up what Mazarah means. And people that tell you don't look up, follow zodiacs and constellations, read that. And why would God tell him to learn how the pattern of these planets and times and seasons work, you know? But back to this. The first sun, this is 7 thunders out of the Holy Tablets. I'm going to show you how they correlate with the 7 seals that talks about in Revelation. Revelation just means the revealing, just as apocalypse. You think apocalypse means a tragic day, a bunch of bombs going off, people running scared and doing this, and that. But apocalypse just means the unveiling. The great revealing, you know, revealing what's hidden, you know. We are under a trance spell right now. We've been under it for a long time now. You know, the veil is being revealed. So what was hidden, you know, it's everything that, like the old saying, what's in the dark always comes to the light, you know. What's lost must be found, you know. Everything that was they try to whitewash, hide it, or try to discontinue it, to cut us off from being a nation of who we really are in our natural nature of being. It's over, because guess what? Under certain alignments, that influx, that plasma, you know, it's unlocking the DNA right now, which when DNA is unlocked, that's what junk DNA is. Junk DNA is just stored away memories, you know. It's basically allowing you to tap into the Akashic records, you know. The Akashic records is basically those memories, everything documented throughout the time of history of space and matter throughout all lifetimes. So it's basically allowing you to tap into them so you can get the answers for everything you need, you know. So it's very key that you know these things. So back to this. I'm about to go into the Holy Tablets, you know. I'm gonna need y'all to stop yelling while I'm making my video, okay? Alright. You know, back to this. We're about to get into the you know, the 7 thunders of the Holy Tablets, and we're going to show you how they correlate with the 7 seals of Revelations, which will be the 7 angels, 7 churches, 7 vials of indignation, and how it gets into the 4 winds, those 4 winds being those 4 angels that bring those judgments that's come from the 4 corners of the earth. This right here is a licorice stick. Licorice stick. It is very good. You can use these to clean your teeth with. You can use them for anxiety, to bite down on them if you got bad nerves. And just for the concept, if you want to quit smoking, and you got an issue with smoking, you know, you'll get a licorice fix, and it'll also, you know, help you mentally with the concept of just putting something up to your mouth. It's all really in your mind. It's mind over matter, you know. Like the sage, you know, this is actually my planetary plant, you know. Just like my planetary fruit under the Mazzaroth, the zodiacs, would be a lemon, which deals with purification the same way sage is, you know. That's why it's key that you have to know your numbers, your time, and your measure, and why are you here for, you know. By people telling you not to look into that, that takes away your power, you know, your understanding of your existence, because everybody has a purpose, you know, and time, space, and matter for what it is, you know. People will refute this, but I can prove all things, you know, multiple sources. The key to everything is to make it make sense, and the truth lies in the consistency and patterns and everything. All right, number 1, the first thunder. Much starvation and sickness, starving children, homelessness and disease. This already passed and continues. That deals with the first thunder, you know. And under the Revelation 7 seals, the first one is the white horse, the bow and the crown, which is Revelation 6 and 2. So the second thunder is the sky becomes sick with holes, and in it that look like sores. Lung disease spreads, breathing problems occur, green mist coming from the holes, a pollutant of the water, growing deformities, bacteria in the water. You know, this is the pollution in the water. You know, you're seeing this with a lot of these train derailments, wildfires, and so on and so on. They've been putting fluoride in the water, you know, and that's another chemical agent that dumbs you down. But, you know, this is what I mean by unnatural things, you know. They go against the laws of nature, you know, but they tell you it's good, you know. They approve them under Pacific 3-letter agencies. Bacteria in the water, little devils. Sea animals begin to die. Fishes are trying to get out of the water. Water becomes death to them. Physical and spiritual illness, mutations in animals. As you were seeing, you know. You know, you've been seeing all of these fish washing up the shore. There's multiple videos circulating online of these, you know, fishes washing up the shores, you know, animals with these mutations, and so on and so on. The third thunder. Many new species, notations in animals, crossbreeding in species, death of frogs, honeybees, turtles, deform humans, multiply, genetic splicing and cloning. Genetic splicing and cloning. Genetic splicing and cloning. Now, when you think of genetic splicing and cloning, think about it as GMO, genetically modified organisms. GMO, genetically modified organisms. As it says right here on the third thunder, many new species, notations in animals, crossbreeding in species, death of frogs, honeybees, turtles, deform human, multiply, genetic splicing and cloning. Mean basically taking something from its natural pure state and trying to duplicate it into something else. Salah? You know, it don't get no more obvious than that. Now, back to this. Alright, let's go right here. Number 4, the fourth thunder. Signs of twins. This is key right here. Listen to this. The fourth thunder in the Holy Tablet says signs of twins. Yah and Wei. Yah and Hey. But it says right here, it says Yah and Wei. One guards the South Pole, the other guards the North Pole. Havoc begins with these poles. Structures break down. Religion, morals, and financials. The devils win. El Ninos takes over. Now listen to this again. Right now, as we speaking, the poles are shifting. You can go look up on any channel. There's multiple channels on YouTube. You know, you could look it up on the NASA website, but the poles are actually shifting. You know, when the poles shift, the roles shift. You know, that means that places it's normally hot, it's going to be cold, and places it's normally cold, it's going to be hot. It's a reverse in the poles. You know, the magnetic grid of Earth is changing. This is what caused global warming. You know, because of the solar flares of the sun. People don't realize when Sol Ra heats up and it starts throwing that plasma down to Earth, those X flares, M flares, and it starts hitting Earth at a rapid pace, it has an effect on all living organisms on the planet, as well as Mother Nature. You know, it's a connection there. And then it's telling you about the pole shift. Then it says it's a breakdown in religion. You know, a lot of these religious institutions are getting exposed, and moral, financial. As you see right now, it's a crisis, a reset with the dollar. Everybody's switching over. The BRICS nations like Brazil, South Africa, Russia, and China, they're all switching over. They're changing their currency to the Chinese yuan, whereas though their currency is backed by gold and silver. You know, it has real value, to whereas though in the 30s, the United States currency was, you know, lessened in its value. It's just a piece of paper. It used to be backed by gold and silver, but in the 30s under Roosevelt, you know, they stopped backing that piece of paper by gold and silver. That Federal Reserve note is just a note now, you know. And a lot of that money is being printed out of thin air. And, you know, everything is being built off of debt. Somebody else to pay some value back that has, you know, take your house, take your car. You know, this is what it's all about by you signing these contracts and being in these contracts and not owning your things fully, you know. So take physical property and assets for you to back that, you know, that loan, that money that was printed out of thin air that really never had no value to begin with, you know. Any system built like that is bound to fail anyway, you know. But that's why the poles are shifting. You know, anyway, the guards the new poles, structures break down, meaning buildings, certain things, everything, because due to these earthquakes and these climates change, everything is going to start, you know, crumbling all at once, you know. Financial, you know, like I said, the reset in the dollar. The dollar has no value. You know, they're going to try to change to a digital currency, you know. If I'm not mistaken, they already started something at the Federal Reserve Bank, you know, to monitor and track money, but it's not going to work out because guess what? You won't have no control over your money and your assets if you don't have something physically you can put up to the side, because they can turn your money on and off at any given time. But guess what? The Devils wins. El Nino takes over. Now I'm going to show you something right here on my computer. I'm going to show you what it says about El Nino. This is actively happening right now, too. It says hailstorms and climate change. Now, remember that. Hailstorms and climate change. All right. We're going to go into El Nino. What is El Nino, you know? Oh, right here. New El Nino 2023, and there's multiple articles on this right here. You know, as you can see, I can show you right here. But right here, what it's telling you about El Nino. But I'm gonna read it to you because this is already written in the Holy Tablet. It says, a weak El Nino, the warm phase of the El Nino southern oscillation climate pattern, continues across the tropical Pacific Ocean in July 2023. There's a 90% chance the event will last through Northern Hemisphere winter, but only a 20% chance that it will match the strength of the events of the 1997 through 98 and 2015 through 2016 one. You know, this is happening right now, and this is when the water below and above in the firmament and certain things start to happen. You know why it's doing that? Because of the pole shift. The pole shift right now, and as we speak. You know, that's very key. Now listen to this. The fifth thunder. 4 great people will perish during floods, lightning storms. Lightning storms is key because when it's a lot of solar flares coming and solar storms, that these geomagnetic storms bring a lot of these energy particles in the air. That's when you start to see these tornadoes, in these dry places, because the heat and the climate and the clouds, and it sets the stage for the proper, weather conditions for these things to come about. Lightning storms, tornadoes. And as you see within these last 7-year period, from 2017 to now, you've been seeing tornadoes rip off through the South, on and off. People trying to forget about them, but it's happening. We are in that time, that 7-year period, whether you want to believe it or not. Landslides, hurricanes, hail in the summer, forest fires. Now, what is happening right now in Canada has been happening over there in California and so many other places around the world that nobody wants to talk about. But let's talk about it because it's actually happening, This is real talk. Children killing children. We know that's been happening. Look at Chicago and look at all the major cities in the U.S. They talk about all these other countries being dangerous, but Mystery Babylon is one of the dangerous places that you can actually live on. Because if you don't get killed by your own people in Pacific communities and situations, you can get killed by the domestic terrorists, which we call policing agencies. And the consistency and pattern don't lie. Look. When the public comes out and they start releasing these videos and documenting these records and consistencies and patterns of behavior of policing all over the country in all different places, and you see the same narrative, it's a systemic problem. It's very systemic problem, ideology and programming that is being put into the people that are put here to protect and serve. They took an oath under the Constitution of the Republic for which it stands, one nation under God. But in all actuality, their regional laws, state laws, federal laws contradict the constitutional law. Which the constitutional law is those amendments in which they took an oath to uphold, in which a lot of them don't even know to begin with. So that already contradicts itself. That's another key sign of why nations fall, Every 300 to 500 years, every nation falls, as you seen in Daniel and the statue with the copper, the bronze, talking about the nation of Persia, Greece, Babylon, how one always consumes another, You have nations overseas from afar making an alliance right now to go up against Mystery Babylon for all they done. And the Bible talks about them. It's called the whore that sitteth upon many waters. Meaning they have a base on everybody's land and they have their hand in all global affairs, It said, Mystery Babylon, every nation got drunk off her wine. That's a metaphor for meaning substance. Because every foreigners that come over to this nation of Mystery Babylon, they give them $50,000 grants when they don't even help their own people that's here to begin with. But, every nation from afar thinks this is a great nation and they can build a better life when they come over here, which is true because they have it set up that way, but which is an illusion from the from the inside looking out. From the outside looking in, it looks all great and peachy and what it is, but for liberty and for justice for all, Like remember what I said about the policing. Watch the consistency and the pattern. The truth always lies in the consistency and the pattern. People can argue with you all day, but oh, that's not true, this not this, we're great, this is that, we're not racist, we're not this, we're not that, and have all types of defense. But look at the consistency and pattern, Anybody had to fight for their rights this long and this hard, from getting bit by dogs, getting hosed down, for getting beaten up in marches with metal sticks, to now in modern days getting tased with electricity or getting shot in the back of their head, because they see a gun on your hip when they think everybody's a criminal, but don't realize a lot of people are not felons and they have the right to their Second Amendment and to carry their weapons, and these people, they use manipulation, psychology, and scandalism, They reverse psychology on everything. That's why you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do can be used and held against you in a court of law. So the best thing to do is to remain silent, because the more you keep talking to them people, they are going to create a narrative. As soon as you slip up one time, show any sign of fear, they're going to use everything you say against you and These are manipulation bots. This shows you the ideology of the devil, which is manifest in these people, which is a system. The beast is a whole system as a collective whole. It's not just one thing, you know. These people portray to be heroes, you know, patriarchs and such humble individuals. Look at their behavior. The Most High said you will know them by their fruits. Their fruits meaning their behavior. It says children killing children, their parents rampant, insanities and murders, upsurge in drug addictions. You're seeing it all around. Demonic revivals, parading themselves righteous. What I just said, they parading themselves righteous as heroes, but these are really not heroes. They wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, it's the reverse psychology. Everything is in reverse. The sixth thunder, changes occur. The star people return. This is where you get Planet 9, Nibiru, Wormwood. A third of the stars got thrown to the earth and the seas turned to blood. This is where you get those meteorites that you keep seeing on Earth. This is why you've been seeing all of these spottings of UFOs and everybody's been coming out talking about them. The star people return or the inner earth people return. But I guarantee you there's going to be a weaning out process. The wicked is going to be getting swept off the land, you know. It says signs in the sky, new planets, new galaxies, meteorites, storms, climate, alterations, global warming, spiritual revivals, presence of divine, disregard and respect for present world governments, leaderships, and politics. There's going to be a disregard for them because guess what? You think these are the heroes? That's why the Bible talks about we worship the creature more than the creator. People rely on their government, think that they will have